And we got no picture. God damn it. Give me a moment. Oh, there we go. Because OBS doesn't capture the fucking game right away. It needs a hot second. Of course.
Yeah, it's all OBS's fault. All OBS's fault.
It is, yes. Very much.
Maybe you should cue it earlier.
Technically, I could switch to studio mode, load it or preload it, and then it would work, yes. But why couldn't it automatically do it? Whatever.
A poor craftsman who
I mean,
brings...
you don't use studio mode yet. I mean,
no, the studio mode is just I just go with the non-studio mode. No, I mean, I have OBS Studio, which I use, right? But not the mode itself. There you go. Anyways. Yes. Anyways, all right. So, well, I guess welcome, folks, to another iteration of this week's Space... Oh, wait, no. The only iteration of this week's Space-Based News. And yet another iteration in just generally speaking, the whole segment nonsense thingamajig. So, we got actually some pretty decent topics, some bigger, I suppose, worldly stuff as well, if we go into Apple thing, because, I don't know, we'll leave that for the end if we got time, because it's pretty interesting and nonsense stuff. Yeah, we got some little things, 2 hosts extra beyond myself, so yeah.
You said sextra.
What? Extra, I said English bad. Okay, there you go. That's my excuse. Definitely, that's my greatest excuse. So, since actually we got pretty decent stuff, so I'll let the co-hosts decide which one do we take first.
I'm up for personal whinging unless you got something better.
All right, so personal whinging it is.
All right, streaming is hard. It's hard. You know what? As much shit as I'm giving you for the transition,
it's fair enough. You just started out. For those that don't know, Pilot has just started doing streams on his own, and not being a co-host and actually doing everything that it takes to present a picture on the screen and whatnot else. So it's certainly interesting, at least from my end, to hear his sort of experiences. And my other host here is a friend who's been sort of just leisurely hosting, I guess.
Lazily. Let's go with lazily.
Okay, let's go with that. So it's going to be interesting, at least, if you're interested in trying out to see their or hear their experiences first. So might as well. So, Pilot, tell, what's been the hardest thing? Oh, yes. I'm doing the softball questions.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, realistically, you watch other people do, or especially like this show. I mean, you put up a still image and you sit there and you talk for a couple hours. How freaking hard can this be? And I totally get it. I totally understand that concept. But setting up OBS Studio, getting the overlays, getting the stream key correct, private video streaming so you can test out the functionality of the rig that you built, getting all the widgets to work, the little notification things, setting up the custom GIFs and animations and sounds to play when people donate or join or whatever. All of this is pretty complex, and I gotta tell you, I mean, I've not nailed it. I've done 2 streams this week, my first and second. The first one, something was set wrong, and it only came out in 480p, so that's fun. And
yeah,
and the
that
second
was kind of weird, but oh well.
Yeah. The second one, the video was slightly offset, and it looked okay. Like you could actually see me this time. I was in high def, but it took it halfway through the stream before the modules that I had tested as working, like chat and the notifications and the voting system and everything like that. It was halfway through the stream before I got them working properly. And then at the very last 10 minutes, like I'm like, all right, you guys vote for what I do. They vote for me to play a game. And apparently it takes a little bit of a concentration to play a game and keep talking to your screen. And I know that sounds stupid, but yeah, no, I'm not that guy. I'm sitting there just glaring at the screen. Apparently, the missus in the other room, she's screaming at her phone because she's watching me. She goes, God damn it, say something! Dead air, you idiot!
that is an interesting thing, yeah. Originally, right back in the day when I looked at streaming and tried myself for the first times, I remember looking at especially speed runners, like how can you make records and answer casually questions from the stream, like the fuck.
Real. Yeah, no, I mean, it's harder than it looks. It really is.
It's the world-class gameplay plus the commentary, and I'm thinking, well, holy fuck. And to this day, I still don't really know, but some people just simply have the talent,
It is humbling. I will say this: it is humbling to realize that you fail at something that a Twitch thought can do.
You get used to it,
No, of course, eventually.
Well, I actually have a few things to add here that I didn't get to because you two are very talkative. First off, Pilot, why aren't you using Streamlabs OBS?
He is.
I am using Streamlabs OBS.
You are.
And it is terrible. I mean, not terrible. It's actually very useful and functional and everything like that. But realistically, a lot of the things that I actually want to try or get done or this and that, they're like, no, that's just OBS Studio. You have to use OBS Studio, and Streamlabs is terrible. I don't like the fact that when I open up certain things, like if I want to change how a widget functions, it just opens up a browser window and brings me to the Streamlabs site. I don't want that. I want to be able to interact with the widgets. Maybe it's just this latest version of iteration of Streamlabs I don't like, but
it's as good as it gets. I've tried originally when they first released the OBS Streamlabs version. It had some interesting things that I hoped it would have, but then there were some deal breakers that it didn't. For example, streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I wanted to have literally a fucking chat on screen on the same OBS instance, because guess what? Streamlabs already allows a combination of the chats through their widget, but not on their Streamlabs, version of OBS, which is like, just why? Why not? Why not? It's technically, the same HTML source that it takes. It just simply takes one of the platforms, and I still need to use their, chatbots and whatnot else. So I'm thinking, well, guess I'm not using it, because realistically speaking, at the same time, I had, I used NDI for dual streaming and all that stuff. So, yeah. It didn't really support it, and for a long time I actually used the old OBS without Studio. No.
Yeah, I think they have that feature now in Streamlabs OBS. I'm not sure because I don't multi-stream, so I couldn't tell you. Second thing I kind of want to add to the whole pile of nonsense that we're talking about right now, is with the whole talking to people while you're playing a game thing, it gets easier. And for me personally, what has helped a lot is the fact that I went and trained as an actor for a few years. Like I've had an acting career on a stage, and that helps a little bit, because you learn to be more confident with what you're saying, learn to be like just talking when you like forget your lines, for example. Then you can just continue talking, you can build on your thoughts, and then like pull the focus pull half your focus on the game, half your focus on the talking. Charisma is the word I'm looking for. Charisma. There we go.
Well, I think TheYamiks makes up for charisma with raw, seething rage, and I actually have a pleasant voice to listen to, as I've been told, and maybe you don't need charisma so much.
Maybe not, but it helps. It helps.
Fair enough. Oh yes.
Anyway, yeah, okay, we're getting a little sob story here. Let's move on.
Wah.
Right, Folif, you go for another topic then, if you got any.
Oh, we're doing the light topics first?
If you want.
If I wanna. So, over the last week or so, there's been this like game that's taken the internet by the storm. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called Fall Guys.
We totally didn't talk about it last week, but okay.
You did? Shit.
We did.
Okay, skip that. Moving on to the big topic. So
we
a couple of people.
Too.
No, you didn't. Probably didn't, because it's very new. It happened recently.
Okay.
Epic Games, the people that made the Unreal Engine and Fortnite, have sued Apple and Google, and there's been developments in the case. A lot of them, actually.
Yeah, some interesting stuff indeed.
Some interesting stuff. So to recap, Fortnite was removed from both Apple and Google Play stores because it included in the apps a direct from Epic Games purchase. A tiny, innocuous feature that completely bypasses the way that Google and Apple wants you to pay for things in their apps, right?
Yeah, basically the platform holders want want the Epic Store, Epic Games, to use their payment systems rather than their own. The reason why Epic Store, Epic wants to use their own payment is because I'm not sure what was the percentage on Google Store, but for
30.
Apple, you use or Apple takes 30% of the cuts or of all the. The transactions.
It's 20 for the other one, but yeah. But the point of doing that is to actually theoretically help the customer in case there's a predatory app that just charges your credit card, or there's kids playing a kids game on your phone when the adults are talking in the other room, and they hit purchase like 50 times, which I know
Generally,
sounds
that's an
stupid.
excuse. That's generally an excuse, really.
I know it's an excuse, but realistically, I always thought that was kind of dumb. And then my brother calls me up one day and he goes, "Do you know what your niece did today?" I said, "When?" He goes, "She bought $600 worth of stuff for the fucking mobile Fortnite." And I was like, "Oh my god." Yeah, it happens. It actually does happen, and he was able to get it reversed, and that's that kind of that's the protection of the walled garden. It does actually swing both ways. I'm not actually a fan of Apple or Google or Epic here at this point. Everyone sucks, but that's what it's for.
And speaking as someone in the industry of providing an internet service, it's a very, very normal practice to take a cut from whatever things you're hosting, because it keeps the servers running, it keeps the app stores running, it keeps the CDNs running, everything. It's mostly for upkeep rather than anything.
I would argue that one, but okay, carry on.
Well, when you're talking about the scale that Apple and Google are in, maybe not,
exactly.
Right? But the thing that I work at, not sure if I'm allowed to say, but whatever, I'm not gonna. We use that money to keep our servers running. That's where most of it goes. The other parts go to paying the developers and things like that. So, and like Pilot said, everyone does it. Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, everyone who provides such a service takes the cut.
Yeah, you can take the VIG.
Yeah, Epic, when being removed, they took the next logical step and sued the shit out of Apple and Google.
The important little thing here is that essentially they managed to write up, I think it was 90 or so page lawsuit within hours of them being removed. That's an important little detail.
That.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah.
So they essentially tried to provoke Apple. They did provoke Apple, and expecting that, obviously wanted a lawsuit, and it's basically just big companies being dicks to each other, essentially, and using whatever other doublespeak in order to portray their part of the fucking argument positively, and don't be drawn in. That's all I'm gonna say. For more information, do look up Jim Sterling's latest video. Oh yes, that one explains quite a lot.
Yeah, well, in any case, Apple has the reason why I bring it up now is because Apple has shot back, and let me find the quote that I saw. I completely lost it for some reason. But Apple basically shot back at Epic, saying that they've been doing a lot of illegal shit behind the scenes. There it is.
I mean, color me surprised.
And the lawsuit is very frivolous. Basically, Epic has not consulted any economist to attempt to back up its claims. Epic's attempted lawsuit would make monopolies out of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo as well. There's the safe and secure part. And one of the most interesting things is Apple points out that Epic's attempt to bypass the 30% cut are much like an attempt to shoplift.
Yeah, basically. I mean, look, there's a reason they did exactly this maneuver. It's because they did the exact same thing to Steam when they opened up the Epic Store instead. It worked, and so they're just going to keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore. That's how businesses do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's in gist. That's about it on the whole Epic versus Apple. Basically, both companies are massive fucking dicks in general. You shouldn't be on either side. And the funny thing about Epic, in fact, Jim did point this out, is just trying to recruit kids to go on warfare, quote unquote, against another company. And I'm just thinking, yeah, that's kind of what they're Holy fuck, that's kind of what they're doing, isn't it? With their recent Whatchamahazard's video, the recreation of the Apple's, what is
Yeah,
it,
that was a
1984.
thing,
Yeah.
a parody thing, which is like,
The ultimate irony being that nobody who's going to buy into it knows that commercial exists.
yeah, that's
Isn't this considered a war crime in some places?
Technically, I mean,
corporate
it's a video
warfare.
game.
There you go. Yeah.
But I have a nice segue there. Speaking of weaponizing children and people like that, Burger King has found a loophole so that it can advertise itself on Twitch streams and pay like $5.
Oh my.
So, yeah, what they've been doing is this marketing firm that got hired by Burger King sent out a Burger King employee, name moniker to go join these Twitch streams, and specifically the ones where every time there's a donation, does that live text, that text to speech engine, and it actually reads out the actual message. So they donate $5 and they go, here's $5 to get a new value meal Burger King. You could get a Whopper and fries and blah 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 blah.
Oh god,
Exactly.
Basically,
It's even worse than
that's
that.
donation trolling at this point. It's
Yeah.
fucking disgusting, to be frank.
And
Great
all these
timing.
they did this montage. Yeah, right. They did this montage of all these streamers being like, "What the hell is this?" And I understand that it's a loophole and you're technically screwing, creators and Twitch streamers out of monetary, reasons, and it's not very savory and it's kind of backhanded. But I'm gonna be kind of honest here. That was hella creative. That
Sure,
Like,
creative indeed, but certainly not making me want to go to fucking Burger King anymore. For sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
Dude,
definitely
we don't even have Burger King.
Well, yeah,
It's-
okay, that's the benefit in Latvia too, but still.
Well, no, it's definitely a slow clap, golf clap. Yeah, like, all right, good for you for finding a loophole, this and that. But it doesn't exactly make me want Burger King. It makes me more impressed with the ad agency than it does for the burger. I mean,
the whole Twitch thing also just starts making me think about the whole U.S. Army and their shenanigans on Twitch for a little while back. It's just who's gonna be the next asshole who's gonna try and find a way to basically push their thing, basically at the expense of the platform or the creators, more so. So fucking Jesus, man.
You know what though? Look, I'm not exactly a fan of the army on Twitch and recruiting through there either, but it's really just the tip of the iceberg. You would have you have no idea how many Hollywood movies, TV shows, comic books are almost completely funded by the military.
Right. The funny thing.
It's
Okay, so this
all
is a side note. So basically, if you have seen Transformers movies, you'll notice that they have a very specific positive take on the military personnel rather than the management, and that is done in a specific way. And the funny thing is that those movies receive subsidies because they do portray the army, and so have many other movies. And this is actually quite a noticeable trend in Hollywood for the last couple of years. And I mean, it's the American stuff, I suppose, which is quite interesting. But then again, yeah, when the entertainment is such a large portion, right, and it's such a easy way to drive recruitment, say what you will, it's also a sort of a business move, so
Exactly. It's a cultural victory. It's we're not going for, domination here. It's just a cultural victory. Like, someone else can have the bigger guns, but realistically, we got Hollywood.
Isn't the U.S. government partially funded by the U.S. Army?
Well, yeah. I mean, what? You mean is the army funded by the government?
No, the other way around.
Oh, does the money that they make from movies and TV shows and comic books come right back into the slush fund?
No, it was a joke. It was a joke at how much money the US spends on like
Yeah,
military
it's
stuff.
obscene. It is obscene.
Hmm.
I can't afford fucking healthcare, but we can afford another tank. Yay!
We can afford 700 million of them, apparently.
Oh, jeez.
Why do we need this much firepower? No, nobody needs this much firepower.
America! Fuck yeah!
I was about to say.
I'm becoming rapidly disillusioned with my country. I'll tell you that much.
Isn't that what the song is about?
Yeah. But see, then it was funny. Now it's serious. Okay, here, look. Here's the thing. Do you remember like 10 years ago? Do you remember Chappelle's show?
Kinda.
Vaguely.
All right, Dave Chappelle. Yeah, okay. He does a bit where this documentary crew goes to go film a Ku Klux Klan rally, right? And they get there, and the leader, the guy who's giving the speech, and the leader of the group is a blind black guy, and they all know that he's black, but he doesn't know he's black. And they don't want to tell him because, well, Dave's a really good guy, and we grew up with him, and he's actually really cool to be around. We don't want to let him down by letting him know he's black. And you're like, what the fuck? And you think that's like the summit of satire right there. Is that first of all, they actually are totally okay with a black guy, but they're still holding fucking Klan rallies. But whatever, okay. But you can't get any more. It's ridiculous. So the other day, I'm going through the news, and somewhere in South Carolina, there's a protest to take down a Confederate statue. And then there's counter protesters who want the statue to stay. And they're led by a black guy who's not blind, who knows he's black, but he got adopted when he was a baby. My grandpappy fought in them wars, and I want these statues to stay as part of American history. And I'm like, okay. So at this point, satire is actually worse than real life is actually worse than satire 10 years ago.
Welcome to this year, Pilot. Where have you been?
God, it's like, what's the most over-the-top joke you can think of? Okay, now let's make it real.
Wasn't Idiocracy the same way?
This year, man.
Dude.
Right. Well,
we are rapidly approaching Idiocracy, I think.
Actually,
yeah,
a lot of people
America.
made that joke plenty this year. Fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm seriously waiting for Galactus to come down and fucking eat the planet.
No, just America, please. Leave the rest of the planet alone. We're fine without you.
Fair enough. I can't even argue. I really can't.
Right, well, anyways, moving on to another topic then. Something a bit more positive. Let's see. Well, we got actually Flight Simulator. Right, so yeah, let's just go over something a bit more positive then. Indeed. So, this week on, it was 18th. Yes, it was the 18th August, right, there we go. Flight Simulator 2020 came out, and it indeed is incredible looking, despite Latvia's buildings looking questionable, especially
all hail the Spire.
But that aside, overall the game, or well, can you even call it a game, seems to be doing quite the waves in the PR, indeed. And after trying it myself, I even released a video just recently. It's frankly impressive. So yeah, with my 2080 Ti, I'm still able to get around 50 frames a second at max graphics. So fun. But yeah, it's mostly sort of a flight simulator shtick where basically the developers just cram in such settings, well, not as crazy settings as in Flight Simulator X, where you had like 60 X64 antistopic fill, or what was it, AA filtering, right? Which just is fucking stupid. But regardless, they actually said, if I remember correctly, that VR is also coming relatively soon, quote unquote, as well as let's see, DirectX 12. So we'll have to see how the performance changes with those. And but yeah, overall, even without that, the game looks indeed impressive. And having the live weather basically, and then of course the ground streaming, or rather the texture streaming portions. Just overall impressive. Say what you will, it indeed is an impressive work that they've accomplished, and yeah, it's well, I wish I had a better fucking HOTAS to use, but hey, numpad is still a tool that I can use for flying, and I shit you not, it has no mouse controls or proper ones regardless. So
Did you end up going through the tutorial?
let's see. I'm a man. I don't need no tutorials. No, I did poke and prod a little bit of that too. So but yeah, no, it's basically mostly just dedicated for HOTAS, and what else. Mouse controls is yeah, questionable. Still.
I have discount flight simulator. It's called Google Earth.
No, funny thing is, actually, what Flight Simulator 2020 is using for maps is not Google. They're using Bing.
Oh,
They're using Bing Maps. Yes.
They aren't. They're using OpenStreetMap.
Are they?
Wait, what? Wait, no, they would have to be using Bing since it's Microsoft Flight Simulator.
It is, yeah. They're using Bing for maps, as far as I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that should be pretty much correct there. So yeah, but regardless, not every city and whatnot else is filled with towns and whatnot else. But hey, I'm happy Riga is at least somewhat filled with somewhat correct.
All hail the Spire. Yeah. Oh, hail the Spire!
So, basically, you know that Spire in, where was it?
Melbourne.
Melbourne, yeah. Apparently, it was caused by a typo in OpenStreetMap data. So, they have to be pulling...
Riga too. That's the joke, because he found it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was intentional.
So in Latvia, instead of the tallest, I think it is tallest building in Latvia, right? The radio tower.
It's the tallest building in the Baltic states.
Oh, fucking jeez. And it's basically a one monolith of a building rather than a fucking radio tower. So that's kind of funny to see, but still cute. Cute. So yeah. Now, overall, the game is quite impressive indeed in its technical aspects as well as the visuals. So indeed, we're gonna just probably fly around and see what's what. Though it costs quite a lot, unless you're with Xbox, what is it, Game Pass, and in Latvia I was not able to get it, so I had to pay the full price of fucking 70 euros. So yeah, fun times being at least here in Latvia for time to time. So yeah.
I mean, I think the office building is sort of a placeholder because they replaced Buckingham Palace with an office building.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Thanks, Bing.
I'm pretty sure it's OpenStreetMap. They have to be pulling some data from OpenStreetMap.
No, they probably are.
But they probably all donate to the same project anyway,
From what I understand, they are using about, what was 2 terabytes of basically, Earth data, right? The Google, or no, fucking Bing Earth or Maps data, essentially. And those that don't know, the fucking thing takes up, the installation itself was 150 gigabytes, basically Call of Duty Warzone level. And after you open it, at least for me, it asked to download extra shit, which was 90 gigabytes extra. So I had not enough space on my SSD, so I decided to go with my RAID 0 hard drive setup, and boy oh boy, it takes about 15 minutes.
Shadow Legends.
It takes about 15 minutes to actually get on a fucking landing strip from launching the damn thing. So yeah, make sure you have enough space for SSDs before you actually launch the damn thing. Jesus Christ.
All right, so I'm watching the chats here. I don't know anything about this.
I still have one more thing, like one more tiny thing to add to that. I think the most positive thing I've seen about Flight Sim 2020 so far is I saw a Reddit post of a guy who, in Flight Simulator, followed along his brother who was flying a real-life plane.
Ah, yes, they actually have the live, give or take live simulation of
Location
actual
data, yeah.
flights being
Mhm.
not only the weather data but also the actual fucking flights, which is
Yeah, and that
quite
was
fun.
super cool in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I kind of
I watched the one where they had a cockpit they built, and there were friends were coming in and out during the whole thing during like the 16-hour
yeah,
flight.
16 hours of flight from LA or to LA.
Yeah.
And then
But I didn't see the one where they were actually in a real plane up in the air.
So yeah, well, that is quite something indeed. So once in a while you get one of those sorts of monoliths popping up. So actually, the funny thing is, since the last iteration within the Microsoft Flight Simulator series, let's see, the Flight Simulator X was released on 2006, if I remember correctly, and since then, yeah. This is the next game in the series. Essentially 15 years and they are coming in swinging, essentially. So, well, what a swing indeed.
What a
So
swing indeed.
I'm watching the chat here, and I don't know anything about it, but apparently the Batman game just got announced that has no Batman in it.
Arkham Knights?
Oh. Court of Owls?
Gotham Knights, there we go.
Why? Why would you have a Batman game without Batman?
I have no fucking idea.
I mean,
Well,
okay, there was the movie, what is it, Birds of Prey, right? And they renamed it to Harley, Birds of Prey, because DC can definitely make sure the success of their products and IP.
Hold on a minute. Oh, hold on. I will join you in bashing that movie in 1 second, but just all types of credit for spending a good 4 minutes putting together the perfect New York breakfast sandwich, complete with hot sauce, eggs, bacon on that delicious ciabatta. That is a staple of my childhood, and that movie deserves a little bit of love just for absolutely nailing that sandwich. And then that crying she does when she accidentally loses it. I totally get it. Totally get it.
I was half afraid you're gonna do a Burger King spot right now.
No. What we need truly right now is the Calling Origins spot, right? We need to just advertise the fact that Calling Origins still to this day sells the fucking Battle Royale matches for fucking money. Yeah. Let's not forget that. It's great. Fucking Calling, man.
Oh my god.
Oy, right. Well, I suppose we can get on to the main topic. I suppose that is part of the stream itself. So first things first, those that don't know, Crysis Remaster is essentially coming out this year, as it was announced a little while back with a little delay, and now just recently they announced a proper date for its full release, and it's 18th August. So essentially less than a month until
September,
we get to experience literally ray-traced or, well, semi-ray-traced Crysis. And fucking hell, it's definitely nice to see another one of those big swingers, if you... well, that sentence got derailed. No, I mean, big dick games, there we go, coming out and then swinging, if you will. There we go.
Would you consider Crysis a Spunk Gargle Weavy game?
Actually, the funny thing about Crysis is essentially it's a more of a just showcase or showing off of the developer trying to do their best in making a visual, well, yeah, visual marvel, I'd say, rather than a game. That was the original intent, I'd say, for the most part for Crysis, rather than actually making a fun gameplay or game, whatnot else. So, Spungargle Wiwis, as Yahtzee puts it, those are Call of Duties, basically. Yes, they have the visual flair and whatnot else, but they're more about the experience and the gameplay rather than the visuals themselves. On the other hand, you have Crysis, which is basically all about the fucking pizzazz of the visuals and the tech and just showing everyone up. how much
feel like we've
they
been talking
much
about-
more know coding than everyone else. So
I feel like we've been talking about Crysis for weeks because I made the offhand comment that why the hell do we still care about Crysis? Like
that's your
4
problem.
weeks.
I care for it. Meh.
You know how
Oh,
I'm gonna stop this debate about Crysis? Personally, I can't wait to play it on my Switch.
Oh yeah, right. They're actually releasing on the Switch too, right? So
the most technologically advanced console.
Honestly, it's better than anything else on the market, in my opinion.
wait a few months. That's all I'm saying.
I
No, no,
mean,
no.
I'd rather have a rig, but okay.
Well, I have a rig as well, but in my opinion, if I want to do some couch gaming and I'm uncomfortable, I very much enjoy the fact that I can just pick up the console and change positions and just play like that, not even looking at the TV.
No, Switch definitely nailed its market presentation. Unlike, oh god, Switch was the failed Wii U.
Yeah, Wii U. It
Wii
was
U
the
was the
predecessor.
one that completely failed in its marketing because it, as many people say, within your marketing, you just simply need to present the fucking console in the easiest way possible, or at least it should be understandable in an easy way, like the motion controls. You see somebody, swinging a fucking racket in I don't know, a tennis court, right? And it's easy to understand straight away. You don't need extra explanation. And the same thing went with Switch, right? You just pick it up and play, and essentially the way they presented it, unlike Wii U, which was just an attempt, if you will, and it's flopped.
It was the
mostly.
first iteration of the Switch. Okay.
I mean,
Eh.
look, realistically, I can just grab a cheap like $30 tablet, buy some controller things that lock onto the side of it, and use NVIDIA to stream from my main rig to the tablet and have the same experience. I mean,
Well,
with
you
with
can.
lag. With
You
lag,
not really.
can.
sure.
But counterpoint, I have the limited edition Switch, which has Pokemon on it.
Ooh.
Oh wow, I care about Pokemon so much, but anyways, that's
I
just
don't
me.
either, but still, that was my counterpoint.
No, fair
That's
enough.
a
Fair
good
enough.
counterpoint. I'll give it to you. Yeah, that's fair.
No, a good portion of what sells consoles is the exclusives. Say what you will, but that's basically what sells them. And a
And
good
Switch
exclusive
has
is a
very great
maker or breaker
exclusives.
of it. So yeah.
Switch has very great exclusives. It has Mario, the whole fucking collection. It has
I'm
Smash
so
Bros.
shocked
It
that
has
Nintendo
Animal
has
Crossing.
Mario.
There's Pokemon, whatever the fuck is on there as well for some reason.
Very important to have Pokemon. Whatever fucking Pokemon it has. Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, anyways,
anyway, that killed the whole Crysis discussion. Moving on.
No, it's fair enough. Again, we got about 15 more minutes, give or take, within the stream, and so yeah, the last topic essentially, I think. And do we have any other topics? Okay, we got one
I'm
more,
right.
just a random extra. But anyways, Elite Dangerous. So essentially, the mainstay of mine and Pilots. Although he doesn't want to still admit it that it's still his mainstay, but oh well. So yeah, Elite Dangerous this week released a little bit of extra news or additional information for its new biggest update coming next year or early next year. The literally biggest, most greatest fucking thing ever, right? And the information released was really not that much, as we would expect from, literally several months away till release. So yeah, however, on the other hand, there were some interesting extra journalistic quote-unquote information coming from news aggregate, not aggregates, but news sites, namely Polygon and Twinfinite, rather. And they reported that there will be, give or take, two important things that people sort of cared about that hadn't been, talked about. And curiously, doesn't seem to be wrong. So in a game where the main important tool of doing literally anything is a spaceship, having literally ability to walk on planets along with driving on planets as well as flying with a smaller ship that is brought out, where the ability to walk is only on the planet's surfaces and not the interior of the ship. Developers are considering that might be introduced later, but not on the launch, which rose a little bit of the fuck moment for myself and quite a lot of other people. And the other piece that was very important to note was that despite the update itself coming out early next year, when the new consoles are basically coming out, they won't be coming to the new consoles. The update and the game itself won't be ported just yet to the new consoles, which was even a bigger the fuck moment for me, because why delay the update in such a way to sort of match the new console release?
Somebody didn't get a dev kit.
Yeah, it does feel like that, or they don't think that it's important enough, which makes you question what the fuck are the business people doing within the company. So yeah, it's not coming to PS5 or PS5 or the Xbox. There we go. So that was the biggest thing that I was like, okay, space legs not being able to walk in your ship's interior, that's like, yeah, a big disappoint for a lot of people, which is a thing that developers had hinted forever since the Kickstarter. It's disappointing, but okay. From business perspective, if you can't make it, well, or if technical issues are whatever plaguing your game, okay, I can kind of understand it, but on the business side, it's just, you need to catch the new consoles. You need to be the game to point to be the VR experience. Oh, wait, also the VR is not coming to the Odyssey as well, which just furthers the question, what the fuck have they developed for me?
I don't
no
think
VR, no new consoles, no walking in spaceships, which is the main fucking focus of the game, sort of, or main focal tool.
You know, as somebody who works as a programmer, I am actually hearing positive things from what you're saying. Like, you're complaining about what the marketing
Less
people are
work
thinking.
for you, yeah?
No. You're complaining about what the marketing people are thinking. You're complaining about what the business people are thinking. And you don't want those people making decisions about games.
Yes
Any sort of business oversight, any sort of marketing influence over a product makes the product worse. So if they are delivering something that they can, which is an update on the PC without VR, without going to the consoles, it means they're spending time on the update in places where it matters. Yes, they have to cut back features.
Like a real engineer.
The thing is, currently VR is a thing that you can use for the game. The problem is that for the update, essentially, they would be taking out the support whenever you were to use such update. Obviously, you could go back and use the current update series that they have. Essentially, that's an expansion pack, but not in the next one. So that's sort of quote-unquote taking it out.
I mean, they made updates to the engine, and something broke in the VR, and they didn't have the budget to fix it.
Frontier not having budget. Well, that's a joke.
I mean, developer budget. It's a different thing. And
hold on a second. We have all talked about this at great length about what is and is not in it, and may or may not be in it, and whether it's a disappointment or not. And realistically, we can't make any actual statements about any of it until we get slightly more information. But I will say the one thing that we can talk about is the first view that you've given us is the same as the preview trailer, plus talking about space cactuses and
shrubs, mate. It's shrubs. Yeah. A lot of shrubs. I mean,
and the fact that even in the interview for the official trailer that you put out, you said, we don't really know what it does yet. We'll figure out something.
Oh, right. Yeah. In interview articles from Polygon and a few other places. Not only there, not only even the Twin Flip.
Oh, he said it in the video. He actually said it in the video. He gets, if you watch it, he says, you can collect specimens and bring them back to, to things, and maybe it'll do something. As in, he doesn't know. As in, it's not finalized.
Yeah, there was a distinct, interesting tone, not only from the video coming, that basically Frontier, the developers of Elite Dangerous, haven't particularly decided what the Odyssey is fully yet. And I'm thinking, okay, technically they have started development for Odyssey around middle of 2018, give or take, from what I hear. But the point is still that portions and features have probably been developed for a lot longer, especially the space legs, I can guarantee you that much. And they are still not sure what the fucking thing is, literally months before its release, is very curious to me.
Just playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, could it be that they're trying to be vague about it?
They are trying to be very vague.
That's where I was going with it, is that we can't actually say anything until we have more information out, and I totally get that. But why would you lead with this video? Why would you lead with this? We're going to show off shrubbery first. You must bring us a shrubbery.
No, they didn't even show shrubbery. They showed concept art for shrubbery, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a fucking concept art, because even if it is 3D and it's not in the game world, it will be a fucking change. Because let's remember, mining changed for Elite Dangerous. A little while back, they showcased the, I think it was the abrasive, basically the new rocks that they wanted to introduce with all the crystalline, growths and whatnot on it. And in reality, what we got was just small little dot on the fucking rock that we could shoot and extract something from it, instead of that grand looking, pretty, I don't know, crystalline structure. So yeah, unless it's actually in a gameplay footage, it's probably gonna change.
Why would you not lead with something so much better? Just show us what you're actually capable of. Like even a glimpse of it. Because and it's obviously not ship interiors. I mean, it could be in there. I could be totally wrong, but if I were putting out a promo video, the first piece of evidence of the real content coming out in a couple months, I would kind of lead off with, hey, look, there's this console that an engineer can sit at and actually repair internal chip if it gets, blown up or hurt or something like that. There's going to be roles for multi-crew people who don't have to, so they don't just sit in a chair paralyzed, looking out a window for 8 hours while we go to freaking Colonia. Come on. Just give me something. And I want this. I want to be wrong. I really do. I want to be excited for Elite again.
Yeah.
This is not the way to do that.
Yeah. The marketing in of itself is kind of telling about not having interiors too. I was actually yesterday, I was thinking, something feels off. And when you look at those two trailers and extra information that they've actually released, whatever information there is, there's distinct avoidance of ship interiors. Like, wouldn't it be the perfect trailer to have your commander, whatever person sitting in the seat where you normally would expect the person to sit, and all of a sudden the person unsticks his ass, stands up and walks around the cockpit and then exits the ship. That would be a perfect lead-in for a teaser trailer. And
you've already made that trailer. Right? Exactly.
And the first trailer that they released was literally just the people walking right away without the transitional period of just unsticking your ass. Because it's so telling in a way. But hey,
you misunderstand the engineering in Elite Dangerous, right?
Right.
It like the in-game engineering. The suits that you wear as a pilot are actually fused into the seats, so it provides easy relief of the bowels, if you know what I mean.
Oh God! Guardians of Sidonia flashbacks. Jesus Christ! No.
I want look, I obviously nobody here is in on the creator preview thing where we get the trailer a whole 24 hours earlier than everyone else,
or probably
so
more. This was probably their test.
Whatever,
See
but it doesn't.
who's trustworthy, if you will.
But realistically, none of us get that. No one in this room anyway. So
Yeah.
I get that you're giving them stuff so they can make content so that it comes out roughly around the same time. Everyone gets views, everyone's happy. But I haven't seen, and granted, these people are my friends. Anyone who's actually released any of these videos, you guys are all my friends if you happen to be listening to this. But I haven't seen anything that makes me particularly excited. You've recut the trailer and put it in there, and I don't blame you. I blame the trailer. There's not much to look at here.
Yeah. It's kind of funny though. Also, there's an interesting sort of lack of learning from your peers within the industry when it comes to Elite Dangerous as a particular product. When you have literally two more comparison points, or maybe even three comparison points you can sort of point to specifically. The X4, which came out later, but No Man's Sky and especially Star Citizen.
Yeah.
And the fact that Elite's developers don't think that ship interiors, the fidelity is very important, it just makes me think that they are completely living in their own bubble, not concerned about anyone else like Nintendo does. But unlike Nintendo, they're not really developing quality product, if you will. And I'm just...
No, Nintendo bases its philosophy around fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the game is about or anything, as long as the gameplay itself is fun.
Yeah.
I don't think that... You know what? If I'm going to be really honest here, I think Frontier doesn't know what they want to do with Elite. I think that they're planning on it failing, and that's why there's no commitment to PS5 or Xbox or anything like that, because they don't know they don't know if it's going to survive.
Oh god, I really hope you're wrong on that one, because Elite, as much as I rail on it day on and day out, beating the dead horse, it has a wonderful community, truly, and just seeing developer just fucking the game makes me think of fucking Tribes Ascend, and I fucking despise Hi-Res for letting the goddamn thing die. Pieces of shit. Anyways, carry on.
Oh, I remember Tribes Ascend. That was fun.
I loved it, man. I truly do.
I just really don't think they know what they want to do with it.
Yeah. It just smells like they're just giving up.
It really does.
It kind of sounds like
that.
It kind of sounds like the two games that I love the most and I've been playing the most for the last, I don't know, 13-ish years, which is World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2. It's more so evident in WoW, where like the creative team that was behind the original vision, they're all gone. Right? They've moved on to different projects. They've even retired some of them, and like you can start feeling that the vision that they had for like World of Warcraft is completely gone.
Yeah.
There's nobody on the team who knows what the game is about, what it's supposed to be about, what they want from the game. They just come out with the point that like, okay, let's put this sticker that says "sexy goblins" on the whiteboard and then like develop that.
I think we're entering.
Right?
Do you know what the term fast fashion means?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Yeah.
So there's fashion itself. The word actually encompasses a lot of stuff, a lot of different subgenres and everything like that. But fast fashion is clothing that is specifically designed and made to realistically fall apart within 7 to 8 months. And the reason that's done is it's a feature, not a bug, is that realistically it's out of fashion after 8 months, and then you're supposed to go on to the next style. It was actually out of fashion in 4 months, but you're not going to make enough money that way.
Basically, planned obsolescence is essentially what you're talking about, or referring to in the tech terms.
It's cheap. It's good. It looks unique. People will go, ooh, wow, I want one. They'll go buy one. It'll fall apart, and they'll move on to the next cycle. And that's intentional. That was specifically built that way. And we've gotten to this point because clothing is relatively cheap to make and it's expendable, and you want to make money. And the way you do that is to have people repeatedly buying and moving and progressing the wheel forward, a la capitalism. I think the game industry is rapidly moving to the point of fast fun. And we're moving towards games like Fall Guys, which admittedly I think is awesome and I love it, and I love the concept and everything like that. But in about 4 months, it's going to lose half its player base. In about 8 months, nobody's really going to play it.
Yeah,
and
frankly speaking, you're kind of wrong there, though. But anyways, okay, there are games, sure, that are designed for a limited lifespan.
Right. What I'm saying is I don't necessarily believe that, this is true, that there's not a gamer base for, things like Elite or Star Citizen. Obviously there is. I think if I were a executive at a game industry, though, I would focus my team to chase the money, and that money is in fast fun. Is that you make games that are wildly popular for about 2 or 3 or 4 months and then slowly trickle out, and then you can kill it and nobody cares, and you can move on to the next thing.
And that's what I counter to it. Yeah, so
go for it.
Right. The funny thing is, right, you can watch Jim Sterling and what else and so on and so forth. Basically, I'm gonna sort of paraphrase his thing as best as I can, but essentially for a little while back, actually, let's see, it started around 2015 or give or take, around that time. Essentially, executives of the big gaming companies, Ubisoft, Activision, and what else, basically were heard speaking of these things called live services, and more games, as from those big companies, are more inclined to build essentially live service games, essentially having a game that continuously is being developed, quote unquote, or retains its players as it just sort of milks them, essentially. That's the live service sort of model, which we can see with Elite Dangerous indeed very well.
Not necessarily. The strict games as a service thing is essentially you pay a subscription to play the game.
Yeah, that's another.
It was
another thing,
very popularized by World of Warcraft.
Essentially, they're trying to make it as a
game.
service rather than a product. Thus, you would continuously spend money on it rather than it being just a one-off and so on and so forth. So that was another thing. So I wouldn't say developing game on and game out constantly differently or what else would be a better thing, because just like with oil industry, milking whales and what else, that nonsense. Essentially, companies want a continuous, easy profit, right? No one's really gonna go and try and risk digging somewhere in the field and hoping for the best. They always will invest in more safer bet, and if you can make a product that literally lasts for 10 or more fucking years, World of Warcraft, Eve, what we see with Elite Dangerous, and even the Flight Simulator as well, as a matter of fact, and of course freemium games and free-to-plays as well. They want to just keep the bare minimum of development staff so that they can rake in as much as possible within the microtransactions and game sales, or mostly microtransactions, obviously, after a while. And that's mostly what the industry at the top is moving towards, of course. However, obviously...
I don't think so. How do you explain the rise of mobile gaming?
Rise of mobile gaming, it happened and then it got fucked by... avarice, extreme avarice.
Mobile, I think this is a different beast entirely. If you're looking at the PC game, you can't put it in the mobile market. It's different. It's made for different people. It's
heavily monetized.
Hear me out.
It heavily goes for the monetization. It's disgusting. There are exceptions, of course, but generally speaking, mobile market and the place in general is just disgusting.
I think
let the pilot speak.
Mobile. I think we're getting mobile gaming elements more added in I mean, even the microtransactions in Elite are pretty much a direct response to microtransactions from mobile games.
Oh,
If you look at something like Fall Guys, tell me that's not a mobile game with better graphics.
It isn't.
It is.
The matches are too long.
It's simplistic. It's simplistic but fun. It's colorful. It's meant to be seen very easily. You don't have to focus or stare at the screen to, really kind of, get into it. It's easy to pick up, difficult to master. It is a mobile game with better graphics. And yeah, I mean, I think that's what our future is. I think they're pushing more for Twitch streamers and, instant gratification and instant play, and then forget it and move on to the next thing.
Funny thing is that a lot of people have been saying the same thing for years, and sure.
Hold on. Hey? I'm not done. I understand your point of view. I understand your point of view that you're saying, no, there's obviously the market, and there is. I'm not saying it's a good idea to move this way. I just think that dev studios with newer executives coming in, making market choices, say, come into the business meeting with a slideshow and say, look, the market is going this way. We should be going this way. And dev teams are being cycled to make fast, fun games that can be forgotten because it makes money faster. In the long run, probably not. But in the short run, oh yes. And that's how I know that TheYamiks has stopped listening to me, is when he does SRV.
The thing is with
I have a thing to add to that. Sorry.
Of course.
The thing with executives figuring out, okay, the market's going this way, let's go that way as well, is the fact that it has a latency of about 2 years. There is a latency of about 2 years until their idea goes into the market. From like the way the executives say, okay, let's do this. Oh, hey, first person view. And then it has to go through all these people. It has to go through pre-production, through production, then bug fixing, QA, and all that. All those things, they take time, right? And if you're chasing the market, you're not gonna catch the market. There's gonna be a latency of 2-3 years. The market's gonna have moved on already, and everything's gonna have gone to shit.
No, but I'm saying I can totally have seen this coming 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Fair enough.
I mean, look, realistically, I don't mean this in a bad way. Not to say that Fall Guys is a bad game or anything like it is a bad game. I think it's fun. I want to play it myself. That's the point. It's fun and it's attractive, and then it'll gain my attention fairly quickly. I think that they watched the finer points of mobile games pick up, microtransactions, and it took about 2 years for it to be added to PC games. And then we all threw a fit and said, we don't want to really, want live service games. We don't like that. No, in small part to people like Sterling going, live service games, and using the vocal tenor. We all raised a fuss about it. So now it's a slightly tweaked thing of, okay, you don't want live service. We'll do that other thing where you see that app that's #1 in the App Store, that new game that everyone's playing, at the bus stop or, in the bathroom or whatever. And, you pick it up, you play it for a month or two, you put it down. I think that's the latest target that they grabbed from 2 years ago or maybe a year ago and started building around. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, because I think, like, even to an extent, Flight Simulator here is pretty much just the same as last year's, just a slightly better visual update, and I think we're going to forget about it in 4 months. Right?
Well,
you underestimate.
After release, everything literally winds down until there's next big update. So that's sort of a typical lifespan of a game, with exceptions.
I think what TheYamiks is talking about can be easily seen if you look at the player numbers for Path of Exile.
That's a good example too.
They have a 3-month development cycle for a new quote-unquote expansion that they do. And when you look at a year slice of their player graph on Steam, you can see that right after the expansion releases, there's a massive spike, and then it just gradually goes down week by week until the next spike, next expansion, and then it again gradually goes down, and that's the world we live in right now.
That's a normal development of literally anything. In fact, you can say that even about cars or any other fucking product out there. Over time, obviously the interest in it as it becomes more casual and more monotone, obviously it drops until the next big thing, and so on and so forth. So
I get you. And again, I hope I'm wrong, but I really do. And yeah, it's called popularity. I get it. And
pretty much.
Maybe not so much with Flight Simulator. Like I said, like to an extent. What I was saying is that I have a nasty feeling that we're going for quick fun games now with very little development that are overly simplistic. And not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think we will see more and more simple games coming out more often.
That's what they call mobile games. That's what they call mobile market.
That's what they call having fun.
Hey, I wouldn't quite call that sort of experience I'm having while playing Dark Souls, but I call that fun. So
Yeah, I'm just saying we're gonna have we're gonna have less overly complicated games coming. I'm just saying.
Maybe. Well, again, time will only
I'm
show.
all for that. Honestly, I'm all for that. If we have less complicated games, they take less time to get into. I can have fun quicker.
Exactly.
No,
that's the
a
point.
good quality of a game is that
works.
it's not horribly complicated to do, and yet it has depth.
Says the man who
caveat here is
Elite Dangerous for how many years?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The caveat here is that if you want to make a game fun, like a bite-sized game that's fun takes about as much time to develop as a full-sized game that isn't fun.
Water is also wet.
Thanks, Pilot. Or sorry, Captain Obvious.
Right. I'm sorry if I'm like pushing this thing over the time limit, but
No.
Basically, what a lot of people might overlook when looking at Fall Guys, right? They look at the game, they think, oh, this is a super simple game. Probably took like 3-4 months to develop and just pushed out on the App Store, and they're just raking in money right now, right? But the game probably was in development for 5-6 times as long, at least. Consider like maybe they didn't do their own engine. Okay, that cuts off a lot of time. Right, and if it's an indie company, that they definitely didn't do their own engine. But still, you need to fine-tune the mechanics, you need to fine-tune the controls, you need to fine-tune the levels, test again, just make sure that, and then the whole optimization step, which takes months of your time. And then you find that one little piece of code that's causing all your problems, and suddenly you're running at 60 frames per second, and you can push it to production. Just,
Is
so
that
good.
a subtle jab at Yandere? Or what was it called?
Oh, did you guys talk about Yandere Sim and the fucking mess that it is?
Fucking piece of shit. No, that's a garbage thing. Jesus Christ.
It is a garbage fire. But yeah,
how can one person code so badly? It's just beyond me, frankly speaking.
It isn't a jab at anything. I'm just saying that like you can look at these games and be super cynical, like, oh, this is just a bite-sized game that they knocked out in a month, and then just it's meant to be played for a little bit and then dropped, right? But you got to realize that these things, they take time. By the names of the great Gabe Newell, right? I throw a like lambda symbol across my chest and say Gaben, but
Lord Gaben.
Yeah, but like you said, it's going towards like more fun games that are meant to be tossed, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's more that people are starting to focus in more on the like fun games. There are still big games coming out. There's still like these whole blockbusters of games just pushed towards the end of the year. Yeah, they're gonna be fucking big.
Oh,
but
geez.
when a game like when a game like Fall Guys comes around, you have a streamer pick it up, a popular streamer. He sees it's fun. He has fun on stream, right? People can see that he has fun. They look at the game, they think, "Oh, this looks fun. Let's get into it," and they get into it, and they like. That's
That's
how.
that's what I'm
That's how
saying is
that
that
game spreads.
I think they're making games specifically to be picked up by Twitch streamers organically, not by paid. So
The so-called streamer bait or video maker
Exactly.
bait or whatever.
Not even-
I remember
it's not even
that
streamer
fucking
bait, it's just
garbage.
fun.
That doesn't live long
Fun.
though.
Yeah, but like if you make something that's actually fun, and then you can get it out there somehow, like just give it to a few big streamers, like toss them a pile of money and say, "Please play our game for like 2 streams," right?
Yeah.
And if that works, all your hard work over the last year and a half of making that Fall Guys game, right, that you've played to death and are sick of at this point, right? Suddenly it just springs to life. Your servers can no longer hold the influx of people, and you're thinking, "Fuck yeah, I made it."
Yeah. I mean, look, realistically, look at something like Star Citizen, which isn't even fully finished.
Oh, Jesus,
You know,
fucking
it's
Christ,
still
yeah.
an alpha. It's a playable alpha. That term alone should be, you know, whatever. But at least call it a beta for. Never mind. The point I'm making is that game is hideously complex, and it's getting more and more complex every day, and it totally has a market and a dedicated fan base and a dedicated community, and I totally get that. Are they going to pull in the same amount of money? And I chose Star Citizen to hopefully lose this argument. Are they going to pull in the same amount of money as a studio that focuses on putting out 5 or 6 fun, easy to pick up, quick throw, fast fun games? Are they going to do this? Are they going to be the same? Realistically, and I mean, we're not going to have an answer for that unless you know, we can see everyone's books, and that's not even, you know, possible. But this is what I'm saying is that on one hand you have the super dedicated complex simulation blah 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 blah, and then on the other hand you have a game that you can pick up and, you know, obsessively play for a couple months and throw away, or a handful of those games. Who makes more money at the end of the year?
Honestly,
Chris
it's hard
Roberts.
to know. But if you want to see where the industry is going, if you want to like just see what they're doing, what's going to be the next big thing that everyone's going to try, you just have to look at GDC, the Game Dev Conference that happens every year, right? That's where we got the influx of games that target whales from. That's where we got a lot of other different things that like games are doing nowadays. So yeah.
Fucking industry, man. Back in my day, games were fun. But anyways, yeah. Personally, I still hold sort of an opinion that basically every game that is in relatively bigger leagues is going for the less work, more money, and retaining player base as much as possible. Live service ish style of take, but well, you know, we'll see how long and how well that trend will survive, and obviously there will be disruptors and what else that come through. So yeah.
Do you want to do our game shoutouts and call it?
Sure. Yeah, I suppose so. We could. Yeah, it's been an hour and 20 or so minutes, so I suppose it's good enough a point to end for today. So yeah, what you got there?
They are finally coming out with a Samurai Jack game, and it looks pretty, you know, much like a kind of fighter Batman-ish run around beat 'em up thing, but it looked really interesting, and it looks like a hack and slash, yeah. But I think it looks good and ish. It still has that same art style that they kept from the show, and I'll watch anything that
is 3D. So
it is 3D. I will watch anything that Gendy Tartakovsky has a hand in.
Yeah,
any. I love that dude. He's a goat.
Yeah.
Sure.
For those not to know, it means greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I learned something today, folks. And I'll forget it immediately.
Oh, so great.
But no, it's fair enough. Though Pilot is kind of forgetting a thing here. You see, back in the day, back in the browser game times, there was a Samurai Jack game on Cartoon Network's main homepage. I played it.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
It was fucking fantastic.
It wasn't bad as a internet browser game. So back in those old Flash game. Oh wait, no. It was a Flash game, yeah. There were a couple of them, but yeah. So there you go, and yeah, I see in the chats already. One of you mentioned Black Myth. So essentially,
Can I talk about that?
go.
Yeah. So Black Myth Wukong looks fucking amazing.
Yep.
I can't wait to play it, and it's gonna be 3 goddamn years until it comes out.
3?
Oof.
It's in pre-alpha. That was pre-alpha footage. Quite probably pre-scripted.
Does that
and
mean
gonna
it's
look something
playable?
like that. It's not even playable.
They basically came out with about 13-minute gameplay trailer. So
Gameplay trailer, yeah.
It looks really
pre-alpha
nice.
Footage. It looks super amazing. I want to know who the English voice actors are gonna be. And as I've been learning about, like, absorbing information about the Journey to the West tale, which is where
yes, there was actually a video game after that fucking tale, and it was pretty bad.
it was pretty bad, but I've been learning about the story, learning about what happens in the story and why it exists, and like it looks very faithful. It should be. It's a Chinese company, but it looks amazing, and I can't wait.
So, good old tale. So yeah, indeed. For me, that actually looks more like, give or take, something like Dark Souls, but a bit more slashy, hacky, if you will. And
that's right up my alley.
Yeah. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Mortal Shell also. But that whenever the fuck that's coming out and whatnot else. So woohoo! And I think that's it. Any other news? No. Well, generally speaking, then yeah. That's I guess about it. Do we got any subscriptions on Twitch or donations or anything? No,
There should be a donation. I saw an alert.
Not picking up. Hold on, give me a moment. Refresh the page.
When we
Like,
talked about
Yeah, I saw an alert for like €5 when we talked about Burger King donating $5 and doing an ad. So
by the way, buy your Whopper today.
Oh, fuck you. No. How about you pay for a match in calling, okay? Oh, fucking hell. But no, Streamlabs is not showing up if that was a proper one. All I'm seeing is a patron Warpig again, I guess.
oh well.
Well, if I missed you, sorry.
Whoever you are, thank you.
Well, regardless, thank you all for watching, of course. So my guests today obviously are the one and only The Pilot, who is also streaming these days. So go check him out as well, and then poke him, make him dance or something. I don't know. And of course, my dear friend Fall Leaf on the Twitch, who occasionally streams as well.
I occasionally stream video games. Yeah.
Yes. So I got your link there. So yeah.
Hey.
I guess that's about it for today. Yeah. So tune in next week for a bit more news. Hopefully more positive than annoying about the fucking industry. But who knows? We'll see. And
that seems likely.
Yeah. Stay safe, folks. And we'll see you then next week. Or maybe sooner if you watch my streams. Or their streams. Or wherever. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.